Shalom and welcome, fellow seekers and bargain hunters. I'm Zacchai, your host and humble merchant at this lively marketplace here in Bethesda. Before I roll up my sleeves for today's trade, I have a special challenge for you. A riveting 21-question Bible quiz. Before we start, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join our community of seekers. Maybe even challenge a friend to this biblical quest. The more the merrier in the pursuit of knowledge. Are you ready to haggle with history and deal with divinity? Let's open the market of questions and begin the quiz. Here we go. Question 1. Which animal did Jesus ride on into Jerusalem? Was it A, a horse, B, a donkey, C, a chariot, or D, a camel? Think it through. Time's up. The answer was B, a donkey. Matthew 21 verses 6 to 7. The disciples went and did as Jesus had instructed them. They brought the donkey and the colt and placed their cloaks on them for Jesus to sit on. Question 2. Which city did God ask Jonah to go to? Was it A, Bethlehem, B, Joppa, C, Nineveh, or D, Tarshish? Contemplate this. Time to stop. The answer was C, Nineveh. Jonah 1 verse 2. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Question 3. After Job prayed for his friends, what did the Lord restore to him? Was it A, his health, B, twice as much as he had before, C, his original possessions, or D, new friends? Ruminate on this. That's 10 seconds. The answer was B, twice as much as he had before. Job 42 verse 10. After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Question 4. Who was Ruth's mother-in-law? Was it A, Naomi, B, Orpah, C, Leah, or D, Rachel? Ponder on it. Pencils down. The answer was A, Naomi. Ruth 3 verse 1. One day Ruth's mother-in-law Naomi said to her, "My daughter, I must find a home for you where you will be well provided for." Question 5. How did Judas identify Jesus to the soldiers? Was it A, by his clothing, B, by pointing at him, C, by shaking his hand, or D, by a kiss? Time to think. That's time. The answer was D, by a kiss. Matthew 26 verses 48 to 49. Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Question 6. In the book of Ezra, Cyrus was king of what empire? Was it A, Babylon, B, Assyria, C, Sumer, or D, Persia? Contemplate this. Time's up. The answer was D, Persia. Ezra 1 verse 1. In the first year of Cyrus king of Persia, in order to fulfill the word of the Lord spoken by Jeremiah. Question 7. How does Paul describe the love of money in 1 Timothy? Was it A, a necessary evil, B, a root of all kinds of evil, C, a measure of success, or D, a path to happiness? Consider carefully. Pencils down. The answer was B. A root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6 verse 10. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Question 8. How many books are there in the New Testament? Was it A. 15, B. 21, C. 27, or D. 39? Ponder on it. Pencils down. The answer was C. 27. Question 9. On what island was Paul shipwrecked as he made his way to Rome? Was it A. Crete, B. Malta, C. Cyprus, or D. Rhodes? Reflect on this. Time's up. The answer was B. Malta. Acts 28 verse 1. Once safely on shore, we found out that the island was called Malta. Question 10. Who was Abraham's first son? Was it A. Isaac, B. Jacob, C. Ishmael, or D. Esau? Think it through. That's time. The answer was C. Ishmael. Genesis 16 verses 15 to 16. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave the name Ishmael to the son she had born. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael. Question 11. How did Jesus respond when the Pharisees asked him if it was right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar or not? Was it A. Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, B. Don't pay any tax, C. Keep as much money as you can, or D. Pay double the amount of tax? Ruminate on this. No more time. The answer was A. Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's. Matthew 22 verse 21. Then he said to them, so give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. Question 12. In 1 Peter, how are believers instructed to respond to government authorities? Was it A. Resist them, B. Submit to them, C. Overthrow them, or D. Avoid them? Think for a moment. Time's up. The answer was B. Submit to them. 1 Peter 2 verses 13 to 15. Submit yourselves for the Lord's sake to every human authority, whether to the emperor as the supreme authority, or to governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to commend those who do right. For it is God's will that by doing good you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. Question 13. Who does Jesus say is the true vine in John 15? Was it A. Himself, B. God the Father, C. The Holy Spirit, or D. The Church? Mull it over. No more guessing. The answer was A. Himself. John 15 verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Question 14. In Job, who is said to have inflicted Job with sores? Was it A. God, B. Satan, C. Job's wife, or D. The Chaldeans? Think carefully now. And that's time. The answer was B. Satan. Job 2 verse 7. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Question 15. Who was the prostitute in Jericho who hid the Israelite spies? Was it A. Deborah, B. Delilah, C. Rahab, or D. Jael? Ponder a while. Stop thinking. The answer was C. Rahab. Joshua 2 verse 1. Then Joshua son of Nun secretly sent 2 spies from Shittim. Go, look over the land, he said, especially Jericho. So they went and entered the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there. Question 16. What or who moved the heart of the Cyrus, king of Persia? Was it A. the Lord, B. justice, C. compassion, or D. the priests? Ruminate on this. Pencils down. The answer was A. the Lord. Ezra 1 verse 1. The Lord moved the heart of Cyrus king of Persia to make a proclamation throughout his realm and also to put it in writing. Question 17. Which famous passage in Isaiah speaks of a suffering servant? Was it A. Isaiah 9, B. Isaiah 40, C. Isaiah 53, or D. Isaiah 61? Reflect on this. No more guessing. The answer was C. Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53 verses 1 to 3. Who has believed our message and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Question 18. What does Jesus say about the Sabbath in Mark? Was it A. It is a day for fasting, B. The Sabbath was made for man, C. No work should be done, or D. It is a day for prayer? Consider carefully. Time to reveal the answer. The answer was B. The Sabbath was made for man. Mark 2 verse 27. Then he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Question 19. In 1 Corinthians, what does Paul say about the wisdom of the world? Was it A. It is supreme, B. It is God's wisdom, C. It is necessary for salvation, or D. It is foolishness to God? Deliberate a bit. And that's time. The answer was D. It is foolishness to God. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness in God's sight. As it is written, he catches the wise in their craftiness. Question 20. What is the first temptation of Christ in the wilderness? Was it A. to turn stones to bread, B. to jump off the temple, C. to worship Satan, or D. to doubt God's protection? Ponder on it. Time's up. The answer was A. to turn stones to bread. Matthew 4 verse 3. The tempter came to him and said, if you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. Last question. Question 21. By which well did Jesus speak to the Samaritan woman at? Was it A. Isaac's well, B. the well of Herod, C. Jacob's well, or D. Bir Lahai Roi? Think carefully. No more time. The answer was C. Jacob's well. John 4 verses 6 to 7. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired as he was from the journey, sat down by the well. It was about noon. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" And that's a wrap on this episode of Quiz the Bible. I've been your host Zacchai, and it's now time for me to set up my stall for today's market. If you had fun and learned something new today, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe for more biblical adventures. Until next time, keep following King Jesus. May God bless you.